What are the downsides of having high intelligence? I wouldn't know. 75% of people believe they're above average intelligence. You end up being peed off most of the time. Ignorance is bliss is certainly accurate. Charles Bukowski, the problem with the world is that the intelligent people are full of doubts, while the stupid ones are full of confidence. Also, ignorance isn't bliss. Ignorant people tend to be some of the most belligerent, aggressive, pathological malcontents I've ever met. The downside of intelligence is that you often spend an unfair amount of time helping stupid people navigate the world in spite of their stupidity. But life isn't fair, I guess. Low happiness, as you understand how deeply ducked everything is. Watching idiots burn down the world. You get used to achieve things with minimal work/study in your younger years, and this hits hard later when actual hard work is needed and you were not used to it. Also, for some people, depression, ADHD, being socially awkward, etc. But not gonna, it's generally a good thing when one achieves emotional maturity. Sadness, existential thoughts, rejection of belief systems meant to make people happy due to seeing through the lies, ultimately leading to more unhappiness. Loneliness. My partner is very intelligent. He never complains about it, but I think it's made him feel isolated at times. He also carries a disproportionate burden at work because everyone knows he's brilliant now and expects him to carry double the weight on his team. He just can't not do his best work, though. The worst part about high intelligence isn't knowing too much, it's realizing that knowledge doesn't change anything when no one wants to listen. Channeling that frustration into something creative like writing a book or a graphic novel honestly saved my sanity. Turning pressure into fiction is how a lot of overthinking minds stay alive. Putting up with morons. Low carrying capacity and tiny jump distances. Make sure someone in your party has high strength and someone has high charisma. Whatever high intelligence actually means is nobody's line to draw, but overthinking or overanalyzing has its downsides, and most people can relate to that to any extent. There seems to be a lot of people saying that their high intelligence makes it hard to talk with people. I look at it in the opposite way. Highly intelligent people listen and try to understand what other people have to say. They don't belittle thoughts that are against their own. They ask questions with a non-condescending tone. And don't say the other person is wrong. They present questions or thoughts to have the other person reconsider their own feelings or thoughts. A highly intelligent person is always willing to learn and listen, and only say things in order to gain more knowledge. Whether they agree or disagree with what's being said. That makes an intelligent person. Chronic overthinking, you hyperprocess. Social disconnection, small talk feels like static. Emotional misalignment, logic is loud, feelings whisper. Seeing through everything, you'll notice patterns in people, systems, lies. You can't not see them. Existential dread, knowing too much to be content. Not enough to fix it. Boredom hits hard, an understimulated mind turns in on itself. You're just wired differently. You know, I worked hard in school and college and did pretty well. I have friends who are incredibly smart. I've met more who make me look downright slow. And they were often as happy and fulfilled as everyone else. I don't think intelligence is the root cause of the loneliness and sadness others are stating here. Plenty of dumbies that are sad and lonely. Loneliness, ego, and a great portion of sorrow. You will see things coming that no one else can, and when they come to fruition, the world gawks in horror, while you can only shake your head, needing to calm the brain down. It's wild how awareness can feel like a curse. Once you see the cracks in everything, it's hard to unsee them. The irony of most people thinking they're above average while genuinely smart folks are just exhausted by reality is kinda tragic. Ignorance really does seem blissful when you're stuck overanalyzing every flaw in the system. Honestly, sometimes I wish I could turn off the part of my brain that notices how broken things are. You live between your ears. Intelligence is contextual and not actually quantifiable. So someone who thinks they're intelligent will inevitably wind up looking like a fool over and over as soon as they are out of their comfort zone. I have an allegedly high IQ, and it's been utterly meaningless to me in life. Meanwhile, I've been surrounded by doctors/scientists/physicists my whole life, and they are some of the dumbest motherduckers imaginable when it comes to anything outside their niche. IQ has nothing to do with relationships, managing life, dealing with crisis, etc. It has nothing to do with reality, and IQ is arguably a modern superstition to begin with. Intelligence, as measured by IQ tests, is a gift, not something earned. An IQ over 130 is like being a 6 feet 4 inches man. Statistically, it puts you in a small percentile, but that doesn't mean you are a good basketball player. Developing intelligence into talent requires hard work in the same way. Bragging about a high IQ is like bragging about being tall. You didn't earn it, and it doesn't guarantee success. Awareness. Man, it sucks. Being misunderstood. Dealing with willfully ignorant people. You always manage to see the reality. The reality is not always filled with positivity. Sometimes people living in delusion are more happier than a person struggling being right, real, factual, and scrutinizing everything and everyone. You cannot take Donald Trump seriously. Dumb people are often happier. Smarter people see lies and horrible truths that make you unhappier. The burden of intelligence is you're the opposite of ignorance is bliss. You realize that your particular brand of intelligence is just one of the possible types of intelligence, and that in other types of intelligence, you're just as average as can be. In areas where you're intelligent and another person is not, they will think you are arrogant because they perceive your intelligence but don't quite grasp it, or an idiot because they don't quite understand that you do have exceptional skill/ability in that area of expertise. A lifetime of this can make a person very lonely. Everyone else is an idiot by comparison. Conspiracy theories, flat earth, anti-vax, they all make you want to scream. Trying to educate them is like trying to teach a pig to sing. It's a waste of time, and it annoys the pig. For me, it's getting frustrated when other people can't grasp concepts that seem like common sense to me. Much higher chance of getting depression. Arrogance. You're much more likely to consider yourself superior to others and overestimate your own abilities. Having a big ego and thinking you're better than everyone else. Once I learned to control my ego and became more humble and down to earth, I became a much happier person. My husband has high intelligence. He likes to point out logical fallacies all the time, and it drives me nuts. I had to scream at him to get him to shut up. However, I do find it useful when he's arguing with other people to prove our point. The weird competition. People say I'm a know-it-all. If I say I don't know something, they respond, "Oh, there's something you don't know," or when they start using unnecessarily big words. I've lived a varied life. Some people think I'm lying. If I make a mistake, they're all over it. It's tiring at times. My IQ is only 135. I'm far from a genius, but that's just my experience with it. Hard to find people who can understand many of the things that are easy for you to get. You will be appalled by how dumb some people are, and yet they somehow make money. I don't claim high intelligence, but I do look into how the world works. It can go from a huge sense of wonder to a huge sense of loneliness, or a sense of pride to a sense of abject horror. It's all just in your face, and you get a sense for when you start falling into cognitive dissonance, making it hard to hide from it all. Poorly explained, but like I said, I don't claim high intelligence. Depends on what kind of intelligence. But if we're talking your typical above average, possibly genius, comes a ton of downsides. Loneliness, as others have mentioned. But this isn't your typical loneliness. This crap can last a lifetime. And even surrounded by people, the individual can feel completely alone, isolated, and different from everyone else. And it's not their desire to feel that way, it just is. 2. Thoughts can be consuming. Someone with high intellect can be so fascinated by learning that their curiosity can often take them to places that are difficult for anyone to deal with day in and day out life, while also juggling the vastness of eternity. 3. Get bored really easily. Often can't keep a job more than 2 years because they get bored very easily and curiosity is always pulling their minds in other directions. Some have trouble finding any suitable work at all. There's plenty of highly intelligent, gifted individuals who can't keep a job, pay bills, and live with their parents. Ted Kaczynski, other mental problems aside, wouldn't have been able to live in a cabin in the woods if it wasn't for his parents sending him money. A highly calibrated vocabulary. Some individuals look at you as if you're from another galaxy when using specific verbiage. Your dating pool gets significantly smaller. You tend to come off like a jerk very easily if you're not careful. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more Reddit videos. Bye.